Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
Your
Whole
boy.
clique going up. I know they can't stand it.
Let me ask you this.
Ask me this.
Okay, how do you get the money? So how do companies position themselves to attract venture capital money?
Mm-hmm. So different VCs like different things. All VCs are not the same. And the first thing is that you're going to put yourself in a good position if you find the VCs that are looking for what you have. So if you're building a consumer product, a social app, necessarily going to talk to the enterprise investors or fintech investors or the biotech investors, that's not going to serve you. You're going to waste everybody's time, your time and their time. And neither party is going to like that. So identify who the investors are that are in your space, and not just like your vertical, but your size range, right? So are you raising a pre-seed round, right? Are you raising $500,000? If you're raising $500,000, you don't want to go to a growth fund, right? They're looking for companies that are much later, have a ton of revenue, have a ton of, staff already. So make sure you're not only in the right vertical, but also in the right size range of what you're trying to raise. Early stage VCs tend to be looking for folks with really great ideas. It's usually pre-traction, sometimes pre-product before you have anything. So if you're early stage, it's really about the team that's building it, right? What is your background? Why are you the best person to build this particular company? And then as you grow, it kind of changes, right? How much traction do you have? If you have an app, what's the engagement looking like? How often are people on your app and for how long? So whatever the kind of key performance indicators are for your business, that's really what you should lean into.
I think this conversation is extremely important. We all have children. I have a daughter, and Megan, obviously you are somebody that is extremely inspirational, right? And so I wonder what the experience was like coming into the space, obviously, that we're not familiar with in our community a lot of times. As a Black woman coming into the space, what has that experience been like for you over the past 6 or 7 years?
Totally. So first, I have 2 kids. You're getting mom life right now, because here's a crib. You see the Paw Patrol stickers on the wall.
Chase, been there.
Shout out to Chase is on the case. Okay.
Absolutely.
In the chat, I need you to say something if Paw Patrol has a chokehold on your child, like it does mine.
They did mine for 2 years.
For 2, right? It's a thing. But for me as a mom, I'll say, I think venture in general has a long way to go when it comes to women in our role in this industry. And I think there's a lot of learning to do and a lot of growing to do. But what I can say is that, at Andreessen Horowitz, I've had a really fantastic experience as a mom. I'm actually on maternity leave right now.
Yeah,
I have a 2-month-old. I have a 2-month-old.
Wow.
And I am technically not working, but I really do love, my role, and I love my firm so much that I'm happy to share about them any chance I get. But I think the key is people making sure that they have really great maternity policies, people making sure that women feel supported in the workplace. And it's not like, oh, if you have kids and you can't work until 2 a.m. and you can't drop everything and get on a flight in 1 hour, that doesn't mean you're any less committed to your role. And I think one of the things, and I hope this is okay for me to share, one of my favorite things about our firm is our leadership has been really phenomenal from a maternity leave perspective and just supporting women at work. And when the pandemic first started, everybody was like, oh, we're going remote, but we think we're going to come back. We might do hybrid. Companies were really trying to figure out what they were going to do. And I'll never forget, our founder, Ben Horowitz, got on our all hands and told us, it just happens every Friday. And he says, I was talking to lots of staff about what they want to do and, trying to get opinions on like what should happen first. That's the first sign of a good leader, is like asking people what they actually want to do. And he said, I was speaking to a woman, and she said, this pandemic has been the first time that I felt like I can be a good mom and a good employee.
Mm.
And he said, I'm not taking that away from people. I can't take it away. And so he said, we're not going back, no matter what we do, we're not going back to, fully in office culture, because I can't do that to the moms. And I'm just like, sign me up, So I really, really appreciated that. But I think overall, the industry does have a really, really long way to go because there's not a lot of women.
Yeah. To tie into what you were talking about, like as a parent, I have one 7-year-old. He's in there playing Fortnite now. How do you balance everything? So being a woman, African-American woman, in a super competitive space, how do you manage that family life while trying to be the best at your craft in this VC space?
I don't balance it either. I'm gonna be agree with you. I don't balance it very well. I do my best, but
yeah,
I try to put like a couple of little rules in place. So for me, when my first son was born, I have a 3-year-old and a 2-month-old. I was like, he's coming everywhere. He's coming everywhere with me. I don't care if it's for work. I don't care if it's for play. Up until he's 2, I'm gonna take him with me. Because if I'm traveling for work, even if I'm gone for 2 nights, I'm all stressed out, like, I miss him and I gotta FaceTime. But if he's with me, I can stay somewhere for 2 weeks and not be worried about it, because whenever I get off, I'm gonna be back with him. So that's kind of the first thing that I do. And I think that having women kind of who have been my superiors over time, when they have children, they really lean into women who are in the same position. So I try to provide that for people who are on my team as well, as much as I can. Like, you need flexibility. Your child is sick. You shouldn't feel bad about your child being sick. Why should you be scared to tell your boss, right? And so I try to create that type of environment for everybody around, and I hope that people try to do it for me too. And we just gotta stop explaining ourselves so much. Like, oh, I gotta leave early because I gotta take my kids to the they got a basketball game. And just say, I gotta go. I gotta leave early. We don't have to do all of the explaining and hoping that people will like say, okay, it's all right. Just say what you gotta do.
You think that's an African American thing or a woman thing? Both.
Both.